Says, hi, I'm Bipesh, a 3D journalist and real-time film artist, skilled in several software packages. I've been learning 3D for the past 2.5 years. I like to specialize in a specific area to secure a stable job as soon as possible. However, I often find myself exploring the entire process. I enjoy working on everything and creating the final moving piece myself. I consistently design and follow complete pipelines and workflows covering pre-production to post-production with the real-time filmmaking workflow, primarily using Unreal Engine. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay, so the first thing I notice is that, again, presentation and material rendering is not there. What do I mean by this? I'm going to use this one. So if we take a look at this, like, metal right here, this is a very, very, very ugly looking metal. Why? Because the modeling is very simple. Like that chain's not, that's not how you model a chain. Those discs look very low poly, the textures look very simple, and same thing for this one. They look paper thin. They look like they're made out of like aluminum foil. You guys have seen those like cheap customs that people buy for like Halloween and stuff. This is the impression that I'm getting from this, and it's unfortunate because I in general like the sort of like idea that you were going for in this one right here. Like I understand what you were going for, but the execution again in terms of texturing is not really there. Like we're not really helping the presentation, and neither for the cloth. Like I don't know, it just looks very, and I've seen this before. This is very interesting, guys. I'm not sure why, but this kind of stuff I've seen all the time. Like you guys sculpt some metal bits and then you just add like these very fine lines and try to like an interesting pattern there. That's not how it works. Like this pattern here works way better on the cloth than it works on the metal. Like you're not gonna see this kind of engraving on a metal belt buckle. Look for metal belt buckles, and I'm sorry that I don't want to say lashing out or whatever, but if we look for metal buckle engraving, you're gonna see that the kind of engravings that we see in metal buckles are actually going in. They never go out. Like metals don't really push things out as much. There might be a couple of them that push a little bit out, but usually metal engravings are gonna be going down. And if we look for medieval ones, for instance, you're gonna see that they were even like way more simpler, right? Like they would use like very geometric patterns, or just like a little letter right there, like a flower, like this one right here, just some like interesting patterns. So it's very important that you understand and you look at reference, because if you're not looking at reference, then when you do this kind of stuff, you're just guessing. You're just thinking that you know more than historians and you know, and like the history that we have behind us. So it's important that you don't do that. Try to look for the actual type of like patterns and elements that you might have found, because again, this to me feels like you were just sort of like eyeballing and trying to get like the best possible like effect, but that's not usually how it works. Okay. Look at armor pieces again. Like they usually have trims, or they have like little bolts or something to make them a little bit more interesting. I'm not saying that you cannot have that. For instance, if we look for metal armor and we look for some ancient one like this one's, yes, they look thin, they look relatively thin, but it's a different type of design principle that they were following, right? Like, again, like look at the lines, look at the little borders that we have here on the armors. Like you can have a thin looking armor but still make it interesting enough. One of the things that you're gonna notice though is that, again, metals need a good render. If you don't have a good render, metals look very fake, they look very bad. So make sure to study a little bit about how to render metals for a better result on your execution there. I am going to be, again, quite honest with you on this one, and I think this portfolio review for January has been like that. I've tried to be like very direct with you guys, because as we've mentioned before, if the industry is in a bad situation, we cannot afford to be lazy. We cannot afford to be imprecise. We cannot afford to be, you know, like a just conformist and try to do things like very, very simply. I think you are trying to do too much too fast. I understand what you're going for. This one, for instance, looks a lot better. Some of these renders look actually quite nice, but look at this, 7,800 or 708,185. Oh my god, my English is failing me. Anyway, this big number, almost a million polygon right there. Almost a million polys for this. You did a good job on the modeling. You did a good job on the texturing. This texturing, I like it quite a lot more than some of the previous ones that I saw. However, and even the rendering, like the material looks quite interesting. But this post-production that you did at the end, I don't like at all. Like this thumbnail right here. Actually, the thumbnail doesn't look that bad. But yeah, I feel like it's a little bit too much with the stuff that you added on top of it. So it's important that you first of all, optimize this. Like there's I don't think there's a reason for these elements to be this dense. Like this is way too many polygons. Even if you're doing this for cinema, like most of the stuff can be taken care of by the textures, right? How do I know when we need more textures and when we need more or less textures? Can you look at the teeth right there? Do you see that the teeth or this like fangs or whatever are changing silhouette too much? The answer is no. So you can have like 1/10 of the resolution that you have here on each of these teeth, and because they're not changing resolution, when you place the texture, the normal map of the texture, the details, all of the elements are going to be pushing that information and making it look very, very nice. I'm going to be honest here. I feel like you are just taking a couple of shortcuts. For instance, this guy right here, this element, looks very Siri mesh. Like it looks like you just Siri mesh this thing. I'm not seeing UVs, so I'm gonna take a wild guess that you probably just like did a automatic UVs or something like that, and that's gonna be, again, not efficient and not effective for the final production pipelines, right? Like it might work fine for a portfolio piece, but it's not gonna work for a movie. It's not gonna work for a game. So my advice is pick one discipline of the whole production line. If you like texturing, focus on texturing. If you like modeling, focus on modeling. If you like sculpting, focus on sculpting. If you like characters, focus on characters. First, do it right, and once you've done it right and properly, and you have some cool portfolio pieces to show for that, then you can jump onto the next one. Because if you try to grab every single skill under the sun, then it's going to be very difficult to get something that's going to really, again, make your stuff pop out. Okay, hope that helps, my friend. And let's go to the next one.